Boom. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA channel. And we are back. Everybody in the States, happy Labor Day. This is the day where I guess people across the country are supposed to take the day off and relax and not actually work. But we're working. We're here working and we're doing our thing because, well, this is actually not just work. This is actually fun. We love this. And why not talk about MMA after a crazy weekend? Now, you guys might say, hey, why are you even doing the show? There wasn't much going on last weekend. I disagree. I think we had a pretty awesome event that went down last weekend. That was the Misfits event, and we're going to talk about that Misfits event today in particular on today's show. We got Miguel 4 Productions already in the mix. He says he effed up Luke. I believe he's talking about Darren Till. We're going to talk about that in a second. Miguel 4 Productions says, so happy for Tony. Me too. Me too. And then he also says Dillon Danis is 100% legit on the ground. We got to talk about that because I got to ask Justin's opinion on Dillon Danis and whether or not he's legit because, hey, yo, he got apparently a 6-second submission. But the guy, it would have basically, I am not even joking, it would have been like fighting me. Like, I don't know what to do on the ground. I would have tapped within 5 seconds as well because I think that's kind of the situation. So we're going to talk it over with Justin today and see what we can really glean from that victory of Dillon Danis, over that random guy, Warren Spencer. So we're going to get into all that today. All right, Justin, let's start at the top. I know you did check out that, what was it, the Luke Rockhold, Darren Till fight. But let's just talk about the Misfits event in general. Now, this is me. I made this title. I said the Misfits event was awesome. I really enjoyed it. When I say that, I'm talking about the 3 main fights, right? The featured fight, the co-main, and the main. I didn't care about the rest of them. I think the other influencers are stupid, but I love watching the MMA guys go. Justin, what did you think about this event as a whole?
I mean, overall, it was pretty good. Like I said, if we're talking about the three main fights, Luke Rockhold, I mean, I don't know, man. As a total, as an entertainment side, yeah, it was great. I don't like seeing Dillon Danis get in there and, I got a 6-second sub. And, M. Gal's, his grappling is legit. Who was his opponent?
For Dillon Danis, is this guy named Warren Spencer.
Exactly. He's nobody. So
he's nobody.
Essentially just going to and beating up a civilian. He gets zero credibility from me. I'm not a Dillon Danis fan. I feel he's talked his way into these paychecks. And I guess it's just my envious side of, when I've actually put in the real work and this guy hasn't. And he's always going to make more money than me. He's always going to be more famous than me. So, I'm humble enough to say when there's jealousy on the line, yeah, I don't support him. Again, he fought a bum. And that's the other thing. It's like, these guys, like there are times where you fight and you're fighting a bum and you're scheduled to win. It's happened to me throughout my career as an amateur. It's happened to me as a pro. But after I beat these guys, it's nothing exciting. Like I go up there, I get my hand raised. All right, cool. You're expected to. But then I see these guys get these wins and they're like, oh my God, like all that. It's like, dude, you beat a fucking turd, bro. Like when you actually get a good win, like, when I look at like wins in the UFC, wins in Bellator, I can see those exciting matchups. When you get a win like Dillon Danis does and against a fucking turd, I just don't see. I could sleep Taporia for sure. One shot.
We got Rick Allen is asking, could Justin sleep Taporia? He says one shot, yes. And then and he also asked previously, I missed that. I was going to put it up as well. Who in the top 15 right now could you sleep? I guess in whatever, I don't know. You choose the division, lightweight, featherweight. I
don't know. I have a puncher's chance against anybody. So I just have to land 1 or 2 shots and it can put anybody to sleep from a technically skill point. I haven't trained. I haven't sparred I haven't sparred MMA in almost 2 years. So I can't imagine I can hang. I just don't enjoy it anymore. I sparred for my bare knuckle fight, but that's not MMA sparring.
Right.
And then, I got knocked out in my last MMA fight. So I don't like taking unnecessary damage. So, with the 2-year layoff essentially from MMA, now I grapple and I wrestle all the time, weekly. But as for taking damage, as for taking kicks, I don't do that much anymore. So I can't imagine there's many guys in the top 15 that I can hang with for long term.
Rick MGAL 4 Productions. He knows the story about Kevin Lee. Don't spar with Kevin Lee again, Justin. Yeah, that's for sure. And just for Rick Allen, if you don't know the story, Kevin Lee tried to knee Justin in the head immediately. And actually, I think he's basically tried to hurt multiple sparring partners. Is that right?
Kevin Lee's a really nice guy off the mat, but on the mat, he's one of the worst training partners I've ever had. He specifically asked me to come in. He's like, hey, I'm fighting a wrestler. Can you please come in? I just need you to take like 5 shots around, like every minute, high volume shots. I was like, yeah, no problem. In the first 15 seconds, I take a double leg. He throws a flying knee, hits me, knocks me out. And Coach Robert Fallis, before he died, was there, and he freaked out on Kevin. It's like, how terrible of a training partner are you? You asked him to come in, and I didn't even set it up. I just threw left hook, dove in, and he knocked me out with a knee. And Kevin's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, Kevin, I'm never training with you again," and I've never trained with him again.
Yeah, that's insane. By the way, also, Rick Allen wants to know your favorite fighter, Justin Gaethje. Said the battle of the Justins. What do you think? Justin Gaethje would be, and I'd be like terrified to fight that dude.
I mean, I get knocked out. I mean, even if I come out, I'm going to go out on my shield. Here's the thing. When it comes to Justin Gaethje or anybody else, I'm not going to cower away from anybody, but I'm humble enough, and I know where I'm at right now in my career. I probably get knocked out in the first round.
And so we're going to talk about this event. I see we got more comments coming in from MGAL4 Productions as well. I just want to take a moment to talk about the Misfits event, because let me tell you from my perspective, okay? I see what Misfits is doing. I get this whole influencer boxing thing. I don't know any of these influencers. I don't know these random YouTuber guys, the prank guys. I don't know. I don't care. So from that perspective, I think Misfits is uninteresting to me, because I'm not like, you know, I think it's more for kids who watch these guys and then want to watch them fight or whatever. But where they got my attention and where they got my interest is having guys like Tony Ferguson, having guys like Darren Till. What a legend on the mic. What a smack talker. And he's a real fighter. Luke Rockhold, say what you will, but he's a real fighter. You know, he's maybe a former champ up there a little bit in years, but he can still fight. He can still bang. So when we look at the top three, even Dillon Danis, even if you guys want to talk smack about Dillon Danis, he's still a fighter. He still knows how to grapple. He's an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner. So if Misfits continues to, like, the thing that aggravates me in the crossover world is watching MMA guys go in, crossover into boxing, you know, like Darren Till, and then have to fight like a real boxer, like Carl Froch or somebody like that. That's like not interesting to me, because obviously the main boxer is going to have a huge advantage. There could be an upset, but it's unlikely, and it's just not fair. But when you take two guys like Luke Rockhold and Darren Till, both MMA legends, I consider Darren Till an MMA legend, both MMA legends, and they get in there and they both agree to try a new sport that they don't normally traditionally train. That's exciting to me. Like, I'd want to see Luke Rockhold and Darren Till do, I don't know, like maybe not power slap, but I'd like to see them compete in other things. Like, that's obviously the best is something similar to boxing or kickboxing. So I think it's cool. And for me, from my fan perspective, I will continue to support Misfits if they keep having Dillon Danis, Darren Till, and Tony Ferguson at the helm. Justin, what do you think about my thoughts, my reaction of the Misfits in terms of bringing former MMA guys in there? Like, do you feel the same way? Are you still interested to see these guys fight again in boxing?
I don't want to see Luke Rockhold fight anymore, man. I'm a Luke Rockhold fan, former UFC champ. He's taken some brutal knockouts. He's got his teeth knocked out. He got dropped like 3 times in this event. I know we both made videos about it, and that knockout was brutal. Folded him like a lawn chair. I don't want to see him fight anymore. I wouldn't mind seeing him grapple or something like that, but I do not want to see him fight anymore. Now, to talk about I'm having a hard time locking this mic. See, I have to hold it up manually. I don't know. I can't get it to sit yet. It's pinched all the way tight, but regardless, so like as an MMA fighter, you know, going out and you're like, oh, I don't like to see MMA fighters go against boxers. But here's the thing. That's not how we see it. You know, it's like, as an MMA fighter, I'd rather fight somebody. Like, if I transition to boxing, I'd rather fight a good boxer than some trash boxer. Like, for instance, for my bare knuckle fight, you know, I was offered, you know, some guys off the reservation, some Indian guys that don't train, to get in there and spark someone really quick early on. But I didn't really care to do that. For one, I don't want to hurt my hands for essentially for free against somebody that doesn't know much what he's doing. Now I get in there, it's UFC vet beats up guy on the res. Oh, cool. What a fucking asshole. Instead, I take on Lloyd Mix, who's ranked in BKFC. He's 3-0 in BKFC. It's like, all right, I want to test myself. This isn't about the promotion. This is about my internal struggles or my internal battles. Is I want to test myself against somebody that's supposed to be good in this field, to really test myself. Because let's face it, if and when I fight a guy on the reservation, I'm probably going to knock him out in 30 seconds. Like, there's no challenge. There's no immediate threat, immediate danger. Now I take on someone like Lloyd Mix, who's been there, done that. He's undefeated in BKFC. And regardless how I feel about him as a person, I think he's an idiot. But I do like Lloyd, believe it or not. I mean, I think he's dumber than a box of rocks, but I still like him. And I know he's super, super tough. I hit Lloyd with big shots, and he wore all my shots going into the third round. So again, as an MMA fighter, as a high level MMA fighter transitioning into the boxing realm, I think it's better that they challenge themselves. You have Anderson Silva taking on a real boxer, not only taking on a real boxer, beating a real boxer. I mean, how much better is that than Anderson Silva going there and starching some YouTuber? It doesn't sound accomplishing to me. It's like, okay. And then if you lose, wow, how stupid do you look now?
Those are all fair points. Like I get that from the basically like the fighter mentality, fighter perspective, wanting to go out there and really challenge yourself. And Rick Allen, I know you got some comments. I'm gonna highlight them in a second. I'll put it like this. Okay, so this is how I look at it. I'm not a fighter, right? But I'm a fan of the sport. Obviously, fan of mixed martial arts way more so than boxing. Is the other thing that aggravates me when I see a MMA fighter go in and fight a boxer is then the public perception, for most people who don't really understand fighting, is that, oh, wow, boxing is superior to MMA. And that drives me crazy. And then on top of that, if you really know, that if even if they lose the boxing match, the MMA fighter would beat the crap out of the boxer in any other like typical type of like sanctioned fight. So it just feels fake to me. You know what I mean? It all comes back to the authenticity and wanting to see real, not made up, not manufactured, but the real deal, who can really throw down and win. So that's, I think, why. Now you take MMA guys and they're both agreeing to boxing. Now that's more interesting, because now to me, they're both real fighters. They can both do different things if in a full rule set versus just a boxer who's like, no, this is all they can do. And if you open up the rule set, they're hoes. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I'm gonna let me play a couple of these comments real quick and we're going to respond to them. MGAL4 Production says, I was happy for Tony. A lot of people were complaining about the stoppage. What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean, the stoppage, I've heard multiple, I'm not a boxing expert, but I've heard tons of people talk about the stoppage. It was obviously an early stoppage, I think. Nobody is denying that. They should have given him a standing 10 count as opposed to just waving the fight off. That being said, what's that?
I hate when they do that in boxing.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I'm not mad about the stoppage, because all I wanted, and we're going to talk about Tony in a second, all I wanted was for Tony to win. I hate to say it, but he was on his way to a victory and anything could happen. I just don't care. He had lost like 8 or 9 fights in a row, and it was about to be another sad loss. Like, we were all picking against Tony. So the fact that he got the victory, it was so amazing. I was so happy. He collapsed to his knees and it was incredible. It's a long-awaited resurgence. So, yeah, maybe it was stopped early, but I do not care. And then MGAL4 or Rick Allen says it was an early stoppage, bro. Yeah, it was. Rick Allen also says, do you guys think this UFC CBS deal will change the start end times of cards? I think those pay-per-views go way too late right now. Well, on the West Coast, they're perfect. I hate to say it. Oh, I got some in my teeth. On the West Coast, the end times are perfect and start and end time, so I don't mind it. But on the East Coast, I get what you're saying. It is a little bit late, but I don't believe that the Paramount deal would change anything. You have to think. I'm just trying to think about it from a logical perspective. If you're looking at the UFC, why would they all of a sudden change it up when fans are accustomed to a certain start and end time at this point? Because I think that it would be a weird transition and they would miss viewers. And for what benefit? Like, unless tons of people are complaining about the start end times and have been for a while, then I could see it. Otherwise, I don't imagine it will change anything. You got to get your beauty sleep. Yeah, I get you, man. So do I. I need my beauty sleep too. Aaron Killerby killed Pico. Do you respect his fighting style or think it's just dumb? Justin, let me turn it over to you on that.
I don't know what's not to respect. The guy goes out there on his shield, win or lose, every single time. He's so exciting. He's so powerful. He's looking for the knockout. He puts himself in harm's way, as you saw in his UFC debut. He didn't even try to wrestle. He threw that 1-2, rolled to the right into the flying elbow. I mean, in that situation, a lot of guys, especially wrestlers with a wrestler base, 1-2 roll, then they're going to shoot, try to initiate the takedown. But he said, no, not today. He's looking for a big knockout against a guy that is undefeated, 16-0 going into that fight. And unfortunately, he bobbed when he should have weaved, but Aaron Pico is beyond exciting, and I expect him to have a lot of success in the UFC. I don't see him being a Mike Chandler.
I think that I of course respect his fighting style. Now, I, again, am no expert in fighting. I'm only listening to fighters talk about Aaron Pico and how he could modify his style to be a bit safer, to set things up a little bit better. TJ Dillashaw is one of the guys who's weighed in on Aaron Pico. So some of the things that they're saying is maybe he's going to take like 6 months off before even accepting a fight. And then one thing that TJ Dillashaw was saying is like he was moving without really throwing anything to keep Lerone Murphy guessing, right? So when he rolled or moved to the side. He was wide open, fully exposed. That's how Lerone Murphy was able to time that elbow. This is also part of the reason, again, this is from TJ Dillashaw, not me, but again, part of the reason why Aaron Pico's been suffering these crazy knockouts is because of a lack of feints and a lack of basically setting things up. So I think he obviously has power. He's obviously got amazing credentials. Yeah, if he works on some of these weak spots and maybe is a little bit more careful, and Justin, you can chime in too if you agree or disagree with generally what TJ said. I hope I'm not misquoting him in any way, but yeah, then I think he can be a tremendous fighter. I mean, Justin, what do you think? If he cleans up some of these parts of his game with his crazy credentials and athleticism, couldn't he be a massive figure in the UFC still?
I think he already is, but I mean, just because he's on one side of the tracks, I mean, Justin Gaethje is just as reckless, and nobody's criticizing him because he's winning. Now, just because Aaron Pico is out there and he loses his first fight against a guy that's 16-0, who are we to criticize? Yeah. I mean, Justin Gaethje is the most reckless, entertaining, violent guy in the UFC, but you don't hear anybody correcting his form because he's found ways to win. Give him some time. Let's let him adjust to the UFC. Let's let him take on not a top contender in his next fight, maybe a top 10 guy, top 12 guy, instead of going up right against Lerone Murphy, 16-0, possibly one fight away from a title. He gets knocked out. He goes out on a shield, putting on a show for the fans. I'm not jumping off the Aaron Pico train just yet. I think he's beyond exciting. I think his style is going to be incredible for fights. And again, why aren't we talking about Justin Gaethje in the same sense? Because Justin Gaethje goes on his shield every time as well.
That's true, and Justin Gaethje has had tremendous success. Justin Gaethje, though, one thing I've always loved about him, and one of the things that turned me on to him as a fan early on is those calf kicks. Like I do like, obviously, that he gets in there, he stands and bangs. He's a little bit. Oh, he wouldn't like it if we said he's reckless or anything like that, or a little bit, because he's gotten mad at DC for describing his fighting style like that, because he's like, no, it's controlled chaos. That's how he describes it. But one of the things that actually stood out to me more than his like heavy hands, it's those calf kicks, man. I remember in that Dustin Poirier fight, I was just in awe of the strategy, because you don't normally think as just a viewer, calf kicks, really? Like that, what are you doing? Like forearm punches or something? You know what I mean? It just doesn't, but then you see how effective they are. I love those little things, or just people that load up on heavy leg kicks, or those little nuances. I don't know. They're very interesting to me. Okay. Anyways, so we've diverged a little bit, but I wanted to talk about why I thought the Misfits event was so awesome. I really enjoyed it. The presser was amazing. It was way better than any press conference I've seen from the UFC in like the last 2 years. It was great. And maybe the UFC is moving away from these more controversial, heated back and forth. I think they are, for liability reasons. But I thought it was awesome. It was a blast from the past. We got to see Luke Rockhold up there in OG, Tony Ferguson OG, Darren Till, even though he's so young, still an OG. I don't know. I thought it was awesome, and I can't wait to see more. Let's dive into some of the particulars now. Let's talk about Darren Till. Let's talk about that KO. First of all, Justin, talking about the KO, the way the Rockhold fell, right? He got beat up pretty badly in round one with that late knockdown where I thought he was out. And he was kind of saved by the bell, barely. But tell me, what did you think about that knockout, and what does it say about, I don't know, where Luke Rockhold is at now?
I mean, like we talked about last week before the fights, Luke Rockhold's not fighting for the right reasons anymore. Luke Rockhold's fighting for a paycheck. He's at the end of his career. He's been knocked out. He just keeps getting injured more and more and more. I think he's just trying to collect a couple paychecks before he entirely goes out. You got a younger Darren. I don't know if Darren Till's much younger.
He's 32.
He's 32. What, Luke Rockhold, like 33 or something?
No, Rockhold's like 40.
Who am I thinking? They must have been Darren Till that I thought was older, because we had the discussion last week.
Okay.
But regardless, Darren Till is still young. He's still hungry. He still wants to win, and I just don't see that in Luke Rockhold's future anymore.
So Darren Till, let's talk about him, because he looked great with the striking. He's had some really good success, and there's not many guys who are as good on the mic as Darren Till. The way he was building that fight up, he was having multiple times where he's almost gotten to a skirmish with Rockhold in the buildup. And then he comes out and he performs that way. And I just thought he looked so calm, controlled, relaxed. And then he had that crazy power, just hit with 10 times, even though Rockhold was the bigger guy in there. Darren Till looked way more skilled, way better. And I think he really wants to be the face of Misfits right now in terms of boxing. What fight for Darren Till? I know this is not your cup of tea, right? I know you don't like boxing, and this whole celebrity thing is a little weird. I'm excited, though. I want to see Darren Till fight again. who would you want to see Darren Till fight? I'm gonna give you a couple options. Would you want to see him fight somebody like Carl Froch, old school boxer? He's like 48 now. I don't want to see that, by the way. It's not interesting to me. Would you rather see him fight somebody like Tommy Fury or KSI? Or would you rather see him fight another MMA guy?
I'd probably want to see another MMA guy. Any MMA guy I'd be fine with, because I know when these MMA guys transfer into boxing, they're collecting a check, and I'm a big advocate on, watching MMA guys transfer over to boxing, collecting checks. So actually, just for that nuance of fighters making more money, I want to see him fight another MMA fighter.
So I'll say, if it's another MMA fighter, one person that comes to mind, I heard that he was talking to Misfits. I'd love to see Masvidal get in there. Didn't Masvidal knock out Darren Till back in the day, right? In the UFC?
I don't know. Let me check.
Pretty sure. Oh, let me double check. Masvidal. That was like Masvidal came back from that thing in South America, and then he knocked out Darren Till. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it was a round 2 knockout.
3 minutes.
Wow, 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Long time ago. UFC fight night 147. Yeah, March 2019, 6 years ago.
It was a long time. It was kind of when Jorge Masvidal was starting to have his comeback. He knocked out Darren Till. It was great. And this is when Darren Till was crushing it in the UFC. People thought he was going to be the next UFC champ. Everybody thought Darren Till was going to win that fight, and he lost. That'd be dope. I'd love that. Darren Till, let's get in Masvidal. I'd also would like to see him. I mean, Tommy Fury, I know, kind of got scared, I guess, and didn't want to fight him because he pulled out of the fight last time. I would love to see that. I think he smokes Tommy Fury or KSI. I wouldn't mind KSI, just because KSI's got such a big fan following. Let's transfer it all to Darren Till. Let's let Darren Till get in there and really pick up his stardom. And then we can get Darren Till back in the UFC. That'd be amazing. Big Boars MMA is back in the mix. He's in agreement with us. Great Misfits card. I agree. I loved it. I loved that. I thought it was awesome. Rockhold should either do CGI grappling, karate combat, or just retire taking CTE at his age for no reason. Yeah, I mean, hey, Justin agrees with you too, and Justin will be probably one of the last people to ever say that. Usually he's just like, hey, if he wants to fight, let him fight. But even Justin's on that same vibe. So we're with you. No, I don't want to see Till versus Andrew Tate. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. But it's not as interesting. I would like to see, what I'd like to see is Till versus Andrew Tate in Muay Thai or like kickboxing. I'd rather see that. They both know how to kickbox. Why not? Let's do full on kickboxing. I think Till wrecks Andrew Tate. Full respect to Andrew Tate as a kickboxer. I think Darren Till wrecks him. He's the real deal. Rick Allen says Masvidal is irrelevant. Isn't he still supposed to serve jail time? I have no idea. I don't know any details about the criminal case or what's going on right now, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. Nah, I think that'd be a dope fight. Let's let Darren Till get that one back. Okay, let's move it on to Dillon Danis. So Dillon Danis, Justin, let me ask you this. Dillon Danis got a 6-second submission. They said 15 seconds, but there was some problem with the bell and when they actually started to fight. So people are saying really it was a 6-second submission. Now, this guy, Warren Spencer, he could strike a little bit, but he himself said, I'm a white belt on the ground. Is this at all impressive to you that this guy who's a striker maybe has very, very novice level of grappling and anti-wrestling and whatnot, takedown defense? Is it at all impressive that he got a 6-second submission, or is this totally meaningless to you?
There's nothing impressive about Dillon Danis to me in any way, shape, or form. He's a high-level grappler, and when's the last time he's done anything in grappling even? When's the last time he's won a big tournament? Yeah, I think and you know what? Allegedly, I guess he's jiu-jitsu is out of this world. I mean, out of this world, like what? If his jiu-jitsu was out of this world, he would be doing something with it, and he hasn't done anything with it. He gets a 6-second submission over a white belt. There's nothing impressive about Dillon Danis.
How fast would it take for you to submit me in let's pretend we're wearing boxing gloves so you can't actually use your hands. How long would it take you to finish me?
15 seconds.
So 6 seconds is kind of impressive then.
No, it's not. It's as soon as I get my hands on you, you're done. And Dillon, and again, cool, he can grapple. That's great. But okay, I don't know, man. I just think it's silly. I hate that people support him because again, what's he 2-0 in Bellator? I'm 1-0 in Bellator. So, we're the same. Why don't we fight? And he probably is a great grappler. I'm sure you just don't lose that, you know what I mean? Just from, lackluster, but don't promote yourself as one of the best in the world. Like, you haven't proven anything to anybody. You
Yeah,
haven't ever beat any. I mean, name one guy he's beat.
yeah. Warren Spencer. No, but that's the thing about Dillon Danis, right? He talks a ton of smack, and he's, you know, he lies a lot.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, had some success. He was 2-0. And who did he fight? He fought two nobodies, man.
Yeah.
That's not success. I had success in Bellator. I had a first round knockout against a striker. Like, where's my success? Where's my fucking success? I had a knockout in the UFC. Like, again, 2-0. Now, if he was like 8-0 in Bellator and subbing everybody or knocking me, wow, I'd be like, yeah, but dude, he fucking sucks, dude. I mean, he's not an MMA fighter. He's a high level grappler.
So he won, though, and I think the promotion, they want to give him more fights. He still claims he wants to come to the UFC. We'll see. They're talking about, and I kind of don't want this, because I just want Tony Ferguson to keep winning, whatever he does. If he keeps fighting, we're going to talk about Tony in a second, because that was the highlight of the whole event. It was amazing. But who would you like to see Danis fight next? Actually, let me start with a different question. If they did put Dillon Danis up against Tony Ferguson, in the limited amount that we've seen of Dillon Danis, but we know the age difference and whatever, Tony's obviously a lot older. Do you think Tony finishes Dillon Danis, or how do you think that goes?
Honestly, I have no opinion. I have no clue, but I'd love to see that fight, because if he goes in there and beats the shit out of Tony, all right, okay. Now, hey, he's earned my respect, but the guy's done nothing to earn my respect. And everyone's like, oh, well, you know, the guy's lost 7 of his last 8, but still, he is an established fighter. He knows how to grapple. He knows how to strike. At least it'd be a credentialed win, regardless if he's on a 7 out of 8 fight losing streak. And he just beat this turd in boxing. Regardless of all that, Tony Ferguson was somebody, and Dillon Danis has never beat anybody that was or is anybody.
True. Okay. So from that perspective,
it put him on the right track to start earning respect. Because what he's doing right now earns no respect in anybody's eyes, unless you just don't know any better.
I'd like a challenge for Dillon Danis. I think that would be cool. So if we get Dillon Danis, somebody who's been in the UFC, is an old school vet, you know what I mean? I don't want Tony, because I just don't want I don't want Tony to lose. I'm sick of seeing him lose. I love that he won. I think it's amazing. I want him to keep winning. But yes, I think actually that makes a lot of sense. Give Danis a good challenge. Let's see what he can do. Is he really full of crap, or actually could he hang with the best in the world in the UFC in mixed martial arts? I want to see that. Big Boris MMA says Danis versus Nate Diaz. That's dope. I'd love that. Dillon Danis versus Nate Diaz. I think that could be cool. Let's see if they do that. Apparently they were trying to
smoke him, dude. Diaz will smoke him in every facet.
I want to see, and then let's let Nate Diaz do that. I'd actually be down for that. Apparently they were trying to get Nate, and Nate wasn't able to do it, but they were talking to Nate. So we'll see. I think that'd be cool. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. And the whole MMA world would tune into that, bro. Right? That would actually be huge. I love that. That was Big Boris MMA. Okay. I like that suggestion. I might make a video about that later today. Lane is back in the mix. Lane, welcome back. It's been a bit since you've been, at least I think since you joined. Maybe that's not true. Any charges been filed on Raja yet? No. We're going to talk about the whole Raja case at the end. That's our last topic today. So I'm going to give you guys all the updates. I made a video about it yesterday or 2 days ago, talking about all the updates in the Raja case thus far. It's crazy. So charges have not been filed yet, but they are coming. I truly believe that. And that's not just me talking out of my own butt. That's me listening to countless interviews from attorneys as well as police officers. Big John McCarthy, by the way, is a former police officer. He weighed in and said exactly what I've been saying about the case, exactly that the arrest is coming. It's just that they're taking time to build the investigation, make sure they have all their ducks in a row, and then they're going to hit him with the charges, whatever they may be. Danis did a face-off with Eddie Hall. Yeah, Eddie Hall's like over 400 pounds. Danis later said, hey, he's at least got to come down to the heavyweight limit if he's going to take that fight. I don't want it, but I like Danis versus Nate Diaz. That's cool. Dr. Peener is back. Gentlemen, fantastic gun show. Boom. There we go. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you guys appreciate this video and this show on Labor Day. If you do, make sure to click that like button. Getting some more people on the stream now. So if you could click that like button, we'd really appreciate it. All right, moving on to topic number 4. I know you got to be happy about this. Give me your reaction, because I know you're a big Tony fan, just like everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he goes out and he keeps, everyone keeps telling him to stop, and, he just believes in himself, and just what an emotional breakdown after the win. After we talk about just the emotional turmoil you go through, loss after loss after loss after loss, and finally just to put everything together and, get back to being excited about winning and that feeling of winning. And there's no feeling like that, especially, after you've lost so much.
It was he didn't cry, okay, but he dropped to his knees. Look, MMA in my again, I'm a fan. I'm not a fighter like Justin, but it's not even. I don't even think it's about the fighting explicitly. I mean, like I'm saying, it's about fighting, but it's not number one. It's about the entire journey that we get to experience, almost like through the eyes of fighters. Like Justin talks about the turbulence, the ups and the downs, the insane odds that they have to go up against, all the people saying BS about them, and then they have to go in and put their life on the line in front of a crowd in their underwear, basically, and fight through all these battles. So to me, Tony Ferguson, this last like 9 or 10 fights that he's been on, that's been a journey that we've gotten to watch. And at first it was like, okay, he had that Justin Gaethje fight, crazy battle. I was stoked for Justin. I was rooting for Justin Gaethje when he beat Tony. And then we started to see this fall from grace that basically we all went on that ride with him, and it was devastating. And then now we get to see him. I thought he was going to lose. And then now to see him fight through it, it's almost like one long big fight that he just wouldn't give up on, came back. And then he got the victory against Salt Poppy. The guy's like 32, way younger. Granted, I know he's not a fighter, but he's a pretty good boxer. I think a better boxer than Tony, but Tony did what Tony does. He just pressured him. He would not go away. It was like the zombie Tony that we saw against Justin Gaethje. Remember back in the day where we were like, I don't think Justin's going to finish him, because Tony just would not stop coming forward. It was like that. And then Tony just had him up against the ropes at the end, not throwing nearly with the same amount of power or zip. So I was really, he looks slow to me, honestly. And I want to hear your thoughts as well. So I'm like, dude, he doesn't have the speed advantage. He doesn't have the power advantage, but he had the heart advantage and the mindset advantage. What a story. And to see him, people going, dude, this is in London. The crowd was going crazy for Tony Ferguson. So I just thought it was all around absolutely unbelievable. Now we have Tony, he got that belt. Let's say he stays in boxing. What would you want to see for him next?
Man, I'll tell you what, I'd like to see Tony like retire. I mean, I'm not going to tell him to, but I mean, how many more wins are we really going to find? You know, is he really going to find? You know, and now this is a great time. I'm sure he collected a big paycheck. I'm not telling him to retire. As you know, I'm not an advocate on telling guys when they should retire. But if he does retire, I would be totally fine with it. As for, I mean, he's going to have to beat somebody like Salt Poppy. Like, I just don't see him beating a high level guy.
Okay, I'll put it like this. So you talk about the question of who he can beat, and I don't know the answer to that. But you bring up a good point, and this is what I want to see for Tony. I want to see him, okay, and I think they should really do this. I want to see him against somebody that I feel confident that he's going to beat. That's it. I don't care. Tony has reached the level of stardom and fan support, and in part because of the losing streak. I'm telling you, he's reached the level where he can do no wrong. He's gotten to this point where people absolutely love. It's not like Conor, where Conor's polarizing. Some people love, some people hate him. He's got a much bigger fan following, whatever. Tony Ferguson is now at this level where everybody in the world is cheering for him. So to me, I don't care if I don't want to see him get tested. Like, I know you're saying as a fighter, you want to be tested, but from the fan side, I just want to see him win. So if they can give him somebody that even you might think like, dude, this Tony I feel like he's a slam dunk. I want to see that. And I just want to see that look on his face again. I want to see him elated. I want to see him be a star of Misfits. And I think Misfits should go this route. I don't think they should put him against Danis. Put him against somebody else that Tony's got a really good shot where he can shine. Because I actually think Tony can be a big draw for Misfits. Imagine if he gets on a couple fight win streak, something like this. I don't know. I think it could be cool. Last but not least, for his next fight, or for his, more fights after this, if I know you're saying maybe he should retire, but let's say he doesn't, would you rather see him compete in boxing or MMA going forward?
I mean, honestly, I don't have a preference over it. I'm fine as long as Tony's in the ring. I love watching him compete. So whether it's MMA or boxing, I'm going to support him if that's what he wants to do. And he's a Michigan guy, in case you didn't know that.
I know. I do. I know. He went to what's the school for wrestling?
Muskegon.
No, it's not Muskegon. It's Kalamazoo. I think he went to Kalamazoo. I think that's my recollection. Western, member for a month. Welcome back. Sorry I'm late. All good. All good. He says, "What's up, gang? Just got back from wheeling the Jeep a bit. Welcome back. No worries. We're just in the midst of talking about Tony Ferguson. So you came in at the best time, the best topic ever. MGAL4 Productions. I'm in a real MMA fight where everything is loud. Justin James would beat the F out of Dillon Danis. We need that fight. We need to blow this channel up, and we need Justin to make a crazy call. We need Justin in there on Misfits to fight Dillon Danis. That's a good fight for Dillon Danis. If he can beat Justin, now he's actually beaten. So like, he hasn't never fought anybody who's fought in the UFC. Let's have that. I think that'd be cool. Although I think he fights at like 185 though. That's the only thing.
Meet me at 70.
Yeah. Rick Allen says, Justin, based on what you know about fighter pay, how much do you think Tony has in his bank account? That's a tricky question because we don't know his spending habits. But Justin, take it away. What do you think?
I honestly couldn't even put a guess on it. Again, it just goes to what his spending habits are. I mean, you look at someone like Mike Tyson, who's made 80 million and essentially he's broke or was broke. He had no money to his name at one point. So I don't even want to make a guess and be way off.
I don't even want to guess either. I don't know. Okay. But anyways, I'm really happy to see Tony Ferguson back. I'm happy to see him win. I think he wants to keep fighting. I know some people will call me sick. MMA Joey was like, you're part of if you want to keep seeing Tony fight, you're part of the problem because he thinks Tony should retire like you, and then he's taking unnecessary damage. That may be the case. I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I don't know where he's at. All I'm saying is I'm not necessarily saying like he should keep fighting for sure. I just love seeing him win. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And it was a beautiful moment. So whatever he decides, I'm cool with. But yeah, I just want to see him keep winning. Dr. Peener's back in the mix. Tony looked like a late stage vampire when it's turning into a giant bat out there. But goddamn, I mean, dude, he did it, man. He did it. I don't fully get the bat reference, but like, no, he did it, man. He stayed and okay, if you want to get specific, the Weasel or somebody else made some videos about Tony Ferguson improved. He got better with his head movement and his evasive. A lot of times he'll stick his head up and his chin up when he's throwing, and he fixed that. So he was being a much better defensive fighter. So the fact that he's not just, I don't think he's just showing up and getting a paycheck and doesn't care and throwing caution to the wind. He's working, he's training, he's improving his boxing skills. Like, that's a positive sign. So I want to see him keep doing his thing. We shall see what happens. Kyle Franklin in the mix. Yo, hey, Western. Welcome, Kyle. You might be new here. I don't recognize that name. So welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying it. Western says, I want to see Tony become that would be cool. That would be cool. Tony becoming a coach and coaching students or coaching up and coming fighters. That would actually be cool. Sup, Kyle. Thanks for pulling up, bro. Oh, okay. West. So Kyle, I guess you're Western's guest. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Now we're going to move on. We got one more. Well, I'm going to highlight one more comment and then we'll move on. Rick Allen says, Justin, what was the biggest payday you received for a single fight? Are you comfortable?
Yeah. 80 grand, 80,000.
80,000. There you go. And I think Rick Allen, I think at this point, Justin had 5 fights in the UFC, ton of fights in all sorts of other promotions as well. But and one bare knuckle fight, which is crazy. All right, let's keep it going. We got topic number 5. Wait, what? Oh, this is I think this topic is wrong. Hold on one second. We got a little problem here. I'll update it right now. Oh, okay. It is supposed to say looking ahead to here. I'll fix it right now. 5 Caio versus Imavov. Sorry, guys. We had a mix up with the subtitles. Boom. All right. Let's talk about this fight coming up this Saturday. This is the fight to talk about on Saturday, September 6th. This is a big fight in the middleweight division because possibly the winner of this fight might be fighting Khamzat Chimaev next. Now, we're going to do a breakdown video later this week on these two guys in the matchup because it's a really big matchup. It's really important. Caio Baralho has been all over the place talking on a bunch of interviews, sometimes fabricating things. But anyways, Imavov, not so much. He's a little bit quieter, I suppose. But we got a big matchup, interesting matchup. I'm going to turn it over to Justin in a second. But one thing I will say is when I've been hearing people break down this fight, most people that I've been listening to have been picking Imavov. They have been saying that Imavov will be able to likely keep it on the feet, and on the feet, he's going to have slightly superior striking to Caio, and he's going to get it done. Justin, let me turn over to you with Imavov having his last victory over Israel Adesanya. How do you see this fight going so far?
Man, so as you know, guys, I'm making a pretty good video about this matchup and this buildup, and I've been watching some fights of Caio and Imavov. I'm not a big Imavov fan. I really like Caio. I really like the Fighting Nerds. As you know, I'm pro Fighting Nerd, and I think it's better for the UFC, Caio winning and keeping that momentum going with his group of the Fighting Nerds. Now, you look at Imavov on the other hand, and up until this point, up until this fight, I haven't really done – I've never really even – I shouldn't say I haven't heard of him because we've talked about him before, but I haven't paid much attention. That's why it kind of taken me this much longer to do the video, because I can't refer back to videos or fights I've already seen of him or paid any attention to. So now I'm kind of rewatching all these fights for my breakdown. I mean, I don't think Caio needs to be overlooked on his feet. This guy's very fast. He's explosive. He's elusive. He fights from southpaw. He fights from orthodox. He has spinning attacks, and his coaches behind him, I think is really going to be the difference maker. And the game plan that his coaches are going to prepare for Imavov I think is what's going to put him over the top for this fight.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather, for Khamzat, see Khamzat fight the win? Because I think it's up in the air. Would you rather see him fight the winner of Imavov versus Caio or the winner of RDR versus Fluffy? Do you have a preference?
I don't have a preference. I feel all four guys are all, really good. When you look at, Fluffy's on a great win streak right now. I mean, that'd be a fun fight. RDR coming over, looks great. But right now, I don't think any of these, I think these guys are too far behind Khamzat. I don't think any of them can beat him right now.
I tend to agree. By the way, we got some comments in here. So Kyle says, bet always wanting to support, appreciate it. And then Western says, I guess Kyle is a new streamer. So I wonder, is this I don't know if I can click on the link. I will check it out. It's not letting me, it didn't turn into a hyperlink. So maybe, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to post it in a comment later and then I can click on it. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm assuming, Kyle, is this an MMA channel that you've created, or what exactly are you streaming about? Let me know and we'll definitely check it out. Braulio has to make weight twice. Yo, we got to talk about this, Justin. Somebody brought this up. Actually, Whitaker was saying that he thinks this is going to actually be a real problem for Braulio. Braulio, dude, he just made weight on August 16th. That's like 2 weeks ago.
And when's the day?
3 weeks ago. Like they're fighting Saturday. Fighting Saturday. So he's got to cut weight twice within 3 weeks. What does that do to a fighter?
Just really depends on how bad the weight cut is, man. Some guys prepare for that ahead of time. So, instead of, after his fight of him going out, well, he smokes and drinks, but regardless, you just stay diligent on your diet. And, he's at the level right now that it shouldn't factor in at all right now. Again, he's already made weight. And he's gonna keep his weight low. He's not gonna balloon back up. It might even be better for him because sometimes after a fight you'll blow up to gain 20 pounds, and then you have to start your camp over. You have to start dieting all over again. Where right now he's just gonna jump right back into camp. His weight's already low and he might already be on point.
That's very interesting. Wow. If that would somehow turn into an advantage and he gets paid to be the backup fighter, because he probably got good money to be the backup fighter for the main event. That was like a lot of stakes. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he gets his show money. His show money.
That's amazing. What a deal. So if it ends up being a detriment, then that sucks and whatever. But if it ends up actually benefiting him and he gets his show money, that's wild, yo. That's incredible. I guess we'll have to see, but I think that is an interesting little wrinkle in this story that he has to make weight twice. We're going to find out. This is a dope fight. There's not that many other fights on this card this Saturday that I'm excited about, but this main, I cannot wait. Kyle, by the way, you said he drinks and smokes. I think you're talking about Pratis. Pratis is the one.
Carlos.
I don't think. Just wanted to clear Braulio's name, and then whichever fight gets the best win, and Khamzat gets. Wait, what? Whichever fighter gets the best win fights Khamzat, and yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Khamzat Chimaev, baby. He's finally champ. It still feels surreal to say that, but he is champ, and yeah, I think he's gonna be very dominant. Kyle says, I have a strong feeling Imavov takes the win, but I want Braulio to. Why do you want Braulio to take the win? Let us know. Let me tell you something about Braulio. I used to be a big fan of his just from watching the interviews. I'm like, man, this guy is really dialed in. I love the way he thinks about the game. He's obsessive about it. But then I don't know. This guy keeps coming up and saying things that are not true at all. And multiple people have called him out about it. So I'm not too sure what to make of him. I don't like that game. You know what I mean, Justin? Does that also bother you when you hear fighters just lying out of the blue and making up stories? I don't find it funny. I don't find it entertaining. You know what I mean? Unless they're clearly like it's just I find it lame. What are you? How do you feel?
Like, give me an example.
So he said he went out there and said that, yeah, I've been hearing, man, that the whispers that Khamzat is going to win this title and he's going to retire. Just little whispers. Khamzat came out. He's like, I never said that. I don't know what he's talking about. And then he said, yeah, I heard DDP broke his shin and that's why he's not. I have connects that train with DDP. DDP's like, he doesn't know anybody in my training camp. I never broke my shin. I don't know. He's like, this keeps happening. You know what I mean? And is he doing it just to get headlines, to be funny? I don't know. But it's like, I think it's kind of lame. What do you think?
Sounds like clickbait to me. Sounds, you know what I mean? Like, sounds like he's just getting people to try to talk about it, talk about him, talk about his name, bring it up. And whether, I mean, remember, even bad publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, I guess that must be his strategy. I just find it to be I wouldn't play the game that way. If I was a fighter, I wouldn't do any of that stuff because lying is lying. Like, what are you doing? You're putting out bad information. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. And you know me, I'm not like that wrestling fanatic of the shoot and the work and all this stuff. Like, just be real. Just do what's what, and you know, it is what it is. I got a Imavov because of the back-to-back weight cuts. Kyle Franklin's telling us about his streaming. I do MMA talks. I do talks in that. Big Jeep fan, so I love talking about off-road stuff, but the chat takes me off topic, but I'm here to please. Got you. All right, we'll have to check it out. Kyle going against his countryman, shaking my head. Oh, why? Are you from Brazil, Kyle? Rick Allen says, what do you think of the whole lawsuit situation with the UFC doing the settlement payout? Do you think it was fair or shady? I am not fully qualified to talk because I have not done enough research. What I can say is this. The main thing, what I was looking at when I was looking into the lawsuit was specifically when people were getting on Money Moicano's case. Why did you turn down the settlement money? You're an idiot. It's not going to put you in the good graces of the UFC. It's like, people were all saying, look, the judge and the court and the legal system decided this is what's fair, so you should just take it. All I will say is you just have to understand what a settlement is. A settlement is not the judge saying, this is what you guys should come to the middle, meet in the middle at, and I think this is fair. That's not what it is. It's the two parties going back and forth, looking at their potential liabilities and what they're possibly exposed to, and making a business decision with their business team, not even necessarily their attorneys. I mean, obviously with the attorneys, but being like, okay, if this is the expected value of the cost, if we keep going, and then we could potentially lose a bigger verdict in front of a jury, whatever, they're going to come to a settlement, whether it's right or wrong. Sometimes that's the pressure, the financial pressure and the legal pressure that parties can be under that can force them to make a settlement. So my point is, just because there was a settlement, I don't think that necessarily 100% supports the fact that the UFC has been unfair or doing things that were shady per se. You know, so all we know is they just made that intelligent business decision to limit their liabilities. That's about the best I can say. Justin, do you have anything that you want to weigh in terms of the settlement and whether or not it was fair?
Kind of in the same boat you are. I don't know enough about it to say what's fair and what's not fair.
Yeah. So I want to, though, if you guys want us to, put it in the chat, give us like a thumbs up or say yes. If you want us to do an investigative video, I know exactly what I would need to do. I've already thought about it. I just don't feel competent or comfortable myself, like doing the investigation or research on my own. I could do it, but I would want to get it. I have a buddy who's got a PhD in economics. If I could get somebody like him, you know, to come on and we could analyze the entire structure of the UFC to the best of our abilities, understand exactly how much money they're making in revenue. On top of that, what are their costs? What are their expenses? What are their marketing? What's their marketing budget? You know, how do they pay their board of directors or their C-level executives compared to other organizations? And really look at the cost structure, the revenue structure, and then look at the payouts to the fighters. I think that would be a really good high-level way to figure out, is this like a fair or unfair way that they're operating? And that word doesn't even make sense because at the same time, you have to accept one thing. It's working. The sport is taking the world by storm. That doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen by just like indiscriminately ripping off employees. There has to be at least, they must be paying people enough where it's a sensible business proposition. I mean, Justin, when you got into the UFC, you weren't like, oh man, this is like terrible that I got in, because it's like, no, weren't you excited like compared to other MMA organizations?
Oh yeah, no question. I mean, you're at the top echelon of all combat sports. I mean, it was beyond exciting. Exciting isn't even the right word for it. I mean, it was emotional. It was exciting. It was I mean, imagine just everything you've worked for your whole life. It took me 30 years, essentially. Okay, and I won't even say 30 years to my whole life, because obviously when I'm 1, 2 years old, I'm not trying to be, but I've been wrestling since I was 9 years old. And I got it, so I've been involved in combat sports. After 21 years, I essentially put my goal to get to the UFC when I was 17. So essentially it took me almost 14 years to get there, all that hard work. And, imagine, you go to be a doctor, that's the thing. Like, say being a doctor, getting your doctorate takes 8 to 10 years, but at the end of that, after you pass all your tests and you pass your board, you're going to make 250 grand minimum for the rest of your life. And I've talked to doctors about this. Once you get your doctorate in the medical field, I might not be exactly right, but you would probably know just better than I would. But from my understanding, it's 250 grand for the rest of your life, as long as you don't get sued or anything. But it's not like that in MMA. You get to that point, you get your doctorate, which I assume I feel I have my doctorate in MMA, and that's just the beginning to try to make money, and you're not guaranteed anything. So to be in that moment is beyond exciting and beyond emotional.
Yeah, for sure. And if you look, we work for other regional promotions. We know what you get paid outside of the UFC. Now, granted, if you go to Bellator or Misfits or these other things and you have name value bestowed upon you by the UFC, then you can command these higher dollar figures. But you can't just be a random MMA fighter up and comer, stroll into Misfits and get like a big payday. It doesn't work like that. It's because the UFC has such a great marketing machine and a great fan base that they can build people up to where then the individuals themselves command high dollar amounts, right? So it's all, you have to realize it's a very complicated situation, an ecosystem. That's why I don't speak about this lightly. I don't want to get it wrong. And I think it's irresponsible to just be like, yeah, they need to get paid more. Nah, they're overpaid. I don't know, because it's a nuanced discussion, and you can't just do broad strokes comparisons like Ariel Helwani does, or other folks be like, well, the NBA pays out this percentage and the NFL pays out that percentage. It's like, those are two different sports, completely different business models at completely different stages in their evolution. MMA is still in its infancy. The NBA and the NFL, are their fan bases growing that fast right now? They're pretty much set. Yeah, I mean, maybe they are still trying to grow, but I guarantee you that's not their number one objective. It's kind of like a third world country versus a first world, where a first world, you're sort of like having much lower rates of growth in GDP because they're already so high. Whereas a third world country, you could have like a 10% rate of growth year after year because you're catching up. It's kind of like a similar idea. So totally different structures. Anyways, Kyle says, investigate that stuff up, homie. I'm on it. We got you. All right. Moving on to the last story of the show. Somebody was asking about Syko Stu's injuries. Syko Stu situation, Roger arrest. Okay. We're going to break it down right now, because I've been following this case for better or for worse. Sometimes I wish I wasn't, because it's like crazy. Have you thought any more about this insane beating, by the way, before I get into the mix?
Man, I don't think there's much more to think about. I mean, what we saw happened, and I mean, it's disgusting from top to bottom. I can't really think of anything much more about it.
So I made a video over the weekend. It's actually gotten almost 4,000 views. It's doing pretty good. You guys should check it out if you haven't yet. It's it says WTF on the front, and it had a picture of Rampage streaming with neon. Okay, so let me give you guys all the background right now. Again, I've heard multiple attorney accounts. I'm an attorney myself in the state of California. However, I never practiced criminal law. I practiced patent law. I don't practice anymore. So let me give those disclaimers. Also, this is not legal advice, nor should it be construed as legal advice. So I'm just giving you that caveat to let you guys know, yeah, I have a general understanding of the law. I took the bar exam back in 2009, whatever. But, there's a lot of nuances, okay? So just take it for what it is. Anyways, I've been watching people who I feel are much more well-versed in criminal law than I've been doing some cursory research as well. But here's the gist of it, okay? Pretty much everybody agrees that an arrest will be made and charges will be filed soon. Now, whether that's for aggravated battery, whether that's for attempted murder, whether that's for something in between, I don't know. But the things that we were talking about before, like the possibility of, you were saying, like temporary insanity or a crime of passion, these different things that would mitigate the severity of the charges, I don't think they're going to come into play whatsoever because of the cool-off period. The cool-off period is very important. He had plenty of time after the original beer can was being smashed on him, where he even apologized and did all this stuff, to when the battery happened, that would take out any sort of possibility of like temporary insanity or heat crime of passion or whatever. That's out. The other potential issue, kind of like self-defense, right? You have an issue of consent, meaning Justin gets into a cage with Lloyd Mix and has a sanctioned fight with him. Lloyd Mix can't sue him for battery later, right? Because they've agreed to mutual combat under a sanctioning body that doesn't work. But Justin consents to getting in there, and Lloyd Mix brings a knife, and Justin doesn't know, and he stabs him, or he hits him after the bell like 30 times when he's like, now we're getting beyond the scope of consent. Now we're like, yes, you consent in certain things, but you've now gone beyond the scope of consent. That defense doesn't apply anymore. This is so clear cut. Some people are being like, well, the promotion said you could hit him for real, so it's their fault. There are so many reasons why this will not fly. Number one, that's one random guy telling him something. You don't get to be like, hey, Justin told me to go shoot this person in the face, so it's not really my fault. It doesn't work like that. You still have to take full responsibility for what you're doing, number one. Number two, he's a fighter. He should have known, and that's going to be important. He should have known the damage that he was doing, that it was totally out of left field. Number three, you cannot consent to take physical damage when you're unconscious. This is something that I've looked up that's in the case law literature in California in particular. So once he's unconscious, you can no longer consent. So you can't say ahead of time, hey, hit me like 50 times while I'm knocked out. You can't do that. It doesn't qualify. And then on top of that, he in his own stream said, no, I'm going to hit him until they said they're going to pull me off. He said that. But if you watch the video, he's hitting him. The ref tries to wave it off. Then somebody else tries to pull him off twice. He fights him off. Then Mala comes in, the wrestler, and is able to pull him off and has to fight him after that. Anybody, any jury, any logical person will look at all of that and say he knew that he was going beyond the script. He knew that he was going on this purported scope of consent where he said he could hit him for real. If you even believe that, if you even think that Roger truly thought that was okay, which I don't, that's out the window once he fights off the guys that were trying to pull him off. It's out. The consent argument is gone. So, and then on top of that, Big John, who's a former police officer, was like, look, what did I say? I've been saying it the whole time. The cops are trying to get their ducks in a row. They're trying to talk to the DA, the prosecutor. They're trying to make sure that the charges stick, that they're doing it the right way. That's all that's happening because it's high profile and it's a little bit nuanced. Mark my words, an arrest is coming. I do believe it will happen this week, and then we'll see what goes down. We'll see if they plea out or whatever, but that's the short end. That's the short of it right there. Hold on. We got a couple of comments, and then I'm going to turn over to Justin so he can weigh in and give his thoughts on what he thinks might happen next. Kyle says, I subbed. Boy, I dig the deep talk you go into. I've been doing this for 8 years, but just for myself, I got introduced to doing streams, so I'll see where it goes. Hey, man, thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. We're getting close to 3,000 subs. I mean, not that close. We still got a ways to go, but we're making our way up, and boy, do we love this. Honestly, it's like, you know, I was on one of MMA Guru's streams yesterday or 2 days ago, and all right, Justin, listen to what he said. This is dope. So somebody in the stream,
you're frozen. Oh, there you go. You're unfrozen now. Your face was frozen for about 5 seconds.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so check this out, right? Somebody in the stream goes, hey, MMA Guru, do you think at this point that it's a lucrative idea to try and start an MMA channel and, be successful with it, to start one right now today? And MMA Guru thought about it for a second. He goes, no, you're wasting your time. You'll never succeed. It's a failure, because if you really wanted to start an MMA channel, you wouldn't be asking me, is it lucrative? Is it worthwhile? Will I make money? You would have already done it because you have a love for the sport and a love for the game, and you would just want to start it regardless of the monetary incentives, just because you want to talk about what you love. And I thought that was, look, MMA Guru is a lot younger than me, and Justin, you know my background and how much passion is a part of my life in terms of my business and my work and whatever, and how important I think it is. And I'm just like, MMA Guru hit the nail on the head. If this guy's trying to make like a business decision and be like, all right, wait, should I do it? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the expenses? What is this? What is that? It's totally not the right reasons, in my opinion, to get onto YouTube. And YouTube here, when we're talking about things that we love and we're passionate about, we should be doing. We have basically been doing it for free for like 2.5 years, but that's how you got to go in. And that's the only way you're going to have the patience, the endurance to, dude, we make videos constantly, okay? And there's no way you could be doing that and we could be up here doing this if it was like, all right, when's it going to pay off? Or like we're marking down the cost, the input, the output. Like, no, we're just doing it because it's fun. And that's generally how it works. I built another YouTube channel, for those of you guys who don't know, that's over 100,000, like just past like 117,000 views. That one's all about math and math education. But again, I didn't start with, okay, how's this going to translate to clients? Is this going to, I was like, yo, I think this would be fun. I'm going to make some cool videos. I'm going to make quality content. And then it just kind of expanded into that over the years as I kept going. So that's the short of it. And anyways, all of this to say, we love what we do. Thank you for joining along. We really appreciate it. Western reposted a link. If it doesn't work, send it to, can you send it to our IGs? Because for some reason it's not working, at least through StreamYard. Maybe if we go back and replay on YouTube, it'll work. And then MBL4 Production says Raja went insane after he slammed him. I would say he went, no, he didn't go insane. He knew what he was doing, actually. So I don't even want to call it going insane if you get my drift. He knew what he was doing. It was a calculated attack. It was a calculated ambush. The slam in it, dude, you know who commented on this?
Who's that?
Dillon Danis. Okay, Dillon Danis, who went after Logan Paul's fiance mercilessly, basically ruined her life for like several months in the build up to their fight. I mean, really, really atrocious. He came out and was like, dude, Raj is messed up. He's like, when somebody gives you their weight, you know how badly you can hurt them if you slam them. He's like, the slam alone. He's like, and that's what people aren't realizing. Forget about the punches. The slam alone should get him a charge. That was not cool. Like, if you're a fighter, Justin, and remember you had that fight in Fusion where you were kind of like play wrestling with that one dude.
Yeah.
If you would have picked him up and slammed him like that, you could kill him.
Yeah, he'd be in better shape.
Anybody knows that. If we're doing a fake wrestling thing and I let you pick me up, you slam me like that, you don't need to lay down punch. So Dillon, who's kind of known as like a bit of a, he really does not care to cross the line. Even he was like, dude, that was so messed up. And then on top of it, he gets out there and hits him that many times. That's not a psychotic break. That's not going insane. That's a bad person. I don't know. Or it needs some help at least. Let's put it like this. But how do you get to that point? And let's say you get frustrated, you get angry at people, you get upset, you lose your temper. You know what? I want to say this actually. There is no excuse. You can feel a certain way, but in this society, in my opinion, there's no excuse for taking your feelings out on other people. I'm sorry. I don't care if you have unresolved things. I don't care if you're bullied by your dad. I don't care what the explanation is. That's not permissible and not acceptable in this society. Nah, that's not right. And there's no excuse. It is horrible. Okay, Western said he's sending to us now. All right, guys, this is it for the topics today. Justin, let me turn it back over to you. Oh, I wanted to show what Syko Stu's injuries are. He actually had a post on his Instagram, but as I pull that up, let me turn it back over to you in terms of this whole incident, what I've described in terms of, yes, he's going to probably get arrested soon. Let me just ask you as a fellow fighter, I don't even know if you consider Raja a fighter. He's 0-1. Do you want to see this arrest? And if so, why?
I do want to see the rest because for one, you have to be accountable for your actions for one, most importantly, accountable. And, if just because it's a high level case, if he gets off, I mean, what about all the people that have done something like this that haven't got off because they're not a high level case? Doesn't matter where you are in social status. I think the law should be for everybody.
Of course. And we need to feel safe as a society. I mean, again, this is not me just trying to go after Roger Jackson. I do think it's terrible what he did, and he deserves to go to prison, but it's a broader issue, and that's why we have the prison system, and that's why, is it perfect? No, I'm sure there's room for improvement, but that's the whole point, is we need to realize, like, people need to know, hey, you do things like this is not going to be tolerated in our society. So here are the updates on the injuries. So he's been released. His injuries include trauma to both the upper and lower jaws. I don't know if that means a fracture or not. Laceration to his upper lip and a fracture in the maxilla bone, which I think the maxilla is your lower mandible, if I'm not mistaken. And because of that fracture, it says he's lost several teeth. It looks like you can see on the left side of his mouth. It looks like, I don't know, man. I don't see any teeth there. This is fucking terrible, man.
Did he have teeth before too? Like, how many teeth were he missing before too? I mean, not judging him obviously as a person, but I mean, I could see him being a guy that doesn't have teeth to begin with.
No, he had teeth. I'm looking at a picture of him right now.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a picture of him and it looked like his front teeth were missing.
Here, look, let me show you. This is an old picture of him right here. You can see that right there. You see? He's got full teeth.
Yep, I see it. Yep. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy, dude? They're gone now. I mean, dude, imagine if this was like your uncle or something. I'd be so pissed off. I don't even know what I would do.
Sure.
I can't imagine his family doesn't want to go after Raja. Like, this is crazy. Okay, look at this. He has a long
right there. Look at his front tooth, his front canine, and his front is yeah. That's the picture I think I saw.
Dude, this is crazy. Okay, he has a long road of recovery ahead, but he remains in good spirits despite everything he's been through. We are deeply grateful for all the love we received during this time. Thank you to everyone who's contributed in any way, whether through monetary donations, food, flowers, gifts, your kindness, and more. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I think this is his wife, Contessa Patterson. I mean, dude, this is horrible. And then what's the, people are just saying, talking about the attempted murder. I want to know though, what's the extent of his recovery? What's going to happen? Is he ever going to be able to work again? Is he going to be able to talk? Like, I don't know. It's so much worse, I think, than most people even realize. When you think about, people just think he got some broken bones and he'll heal up. We don't know. Might be like, that's some hard, even the slam alone on the back of the head could have caused severe brain damage. Yeah, it's really bad. Huzefa want the link, right? IG. Yeah, can you send it to me as well? We'll check out Kyle's thing right after this. And yeah, he lost a lot of teeth. Dude, it's messed up, man. Any fight, like Justin, you've had 79 fights. Have you lost a tooth in a fight before?
No, I have perfect teeth and I've never had braces. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at these fucking teeth.
Yeah, you do have good teeth. Yeah, Syko Stu just lost like the majority of his teeth. You've been in like 79 fights. Syko Stu basically won, and he just lost. Wasn't wearing a mouth guard. You gotta know. He's a fighter. He trains with Rampage. Dude, it's just so wrong on so many. It really gets me pissed off. It really pisses me off. Anyways, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys could like the stream, if you're still on the stream, please click that like button. It really does go a long way. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. We hope you appreciate the fact that we did a stream on Labor Day. I mean, we weren't going to miss it. We don't miss the Monday and Friday because of some national holiday. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. But yeah, I hope you appreciate it. I hope you got some good entertainment on this day of rest and recovery. So anyways, that's all we got for you guys. Thank you so much. We'll be back on Friday. That prediction video is going to be dropped this week very soon. I'm going to talk to Justin about it right now.
I got one piece I have to do left. Sorry to interrupt you. I got one piece left to do, and I just have to talk to you after the stream about how to do it.
Amazing. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.